Hi, welcome to the Session 2 bonus workshop. Okay, we covered a lot of things this session. Let's look at what we learned. We learned how to read music. We learned about rhythms and rests. We learned the notes on our first and second strings. Now, the most important skills for you to master in this section are learning how to read music notation, visually recognizing on the music staff the first and second string notes, as well as the physical playing of those first and second string notes. And also we learned about correct note values and rhythm. So let's go ahead and get started. First place we want to start at is with lines. So let's first talk about notes on the lines. Okay, your staff has 5 lines on it. The lowest note is E, G, B, D, and F. And the phrase that we learned to remember this is, every good boy does fine. Fine kind of rhymes with line. That's how we remember that. Okay, so let's do a little bit of practice on these lines. Let's do a little line reading practice. Okay, so take a look at this first one. Number 1. What is this one? Let's count that up. Every good boy. That's on the third line, so that one would be a B. That's a B. What about this one? Let's count it up. Every good boy does. That's a D. Okay, let's do one more. This one's way up at the top. Count it up. Every good boy does fine. That's an F. Okay, so we covered the lines. Now let's cover the spaces. Let's take a look at the notes on the spaces. Remember, there's 4 different spaces there. It goes an F, an A, a C, and an E from lowest to top, which conveniently spells the word face. Okay, so let's get a little bit of practice on reading those spaces. Okay, so what about this one? What would that be? Well, let's think it out. F, A, that's an A. Okay, let's do another one. This one's on the lowest one, so that would be an F. Okay, let's do one more of these. This one's at the very top. Can you figure it out? That's an E. Okay, now let's mix it up a bit. And we're going to add both lines and spaces together. So take a look at this one. First you have to ask yourself, is this on a line or on a space? Okay, that one's on a space, and it's the third space up, so that's a C. Okay, what about this one? Ask yourself 2 questions. Is it on a line, and a space, and then what phrase do we need to go with that? Okay, this one's on a line, and that's a G. What about this one? Okay, that one's on a space, and that's an E. Okay, let's do the 4th one here. Take a look at this one. What about that? Where's that one? Count it up. That's on a line, so it's every good boy does fine, so let's count it up. Every good boy does. That's a D. And finally, what about this one? This is on a space. It's on that second space, and this is an A. Okay, so that's lines and spaces and the notes on them. Remember that there are 4 types of notes that we looked at. We're talking about rhythm here. Whole notes are an open circle, and those get 4 beats. Okay, half notes are an open circle with a stem on it. Remember, the stem can go either direction, whether it's up or down. It doesn't matter. What matters is that it has a stem, and half notes get 2 beats. So whole notes get 4, half notes get 2, quarter notes are a filled-in circle with a stem, and that gets 1 beat. An eighth note is a filled-in circle with a stem, and it has a little flag on it, and those get half a beat. We're not going to deal with those in this session. We're going to catch those next session. Okay? Now, there's also rests that go along with it. Just like there are 4 types of notes, there are 4 types of rests. So let's take a look at those. A whole rest is a little dash that hangs down from the line, and he gets 4 beats. Just like a whole note gets 4 beats, a whole rest gets 4 beats as well. A half rest is a dash that sticks up from the line, and he gets 2 beats. Remember how we learned to differentiate between the two? A whole rest has more beats in it, so it's heavier, so it hangs down from the line. Okay, a quarter rest is this upside-down lightning bolt-looking thing, and that's 1 beat. Okay, so you have a quarter note, 1 beat, quarter rest, 1 beat. The last one is an eighth rest, and this kind of backwards italicized 7 looking thing, and that gets a half a beat rest. Now, Now let's also talk about our first string notes. That's what we learned this time. So we also learned 3 notes on this very first string. So let's take a look at those. We learned E, open E, first finger F, hugging up right behind that fret, and then third finger G with your third finger hugging up right behind that fret. Don't try and be too far back on the fret or you're going to get this buzzy sound. Okay, so you try it with me. Here we go. E, open E. This is all on the first string. We're bracing our hand down here. We got our pinky. F, and then let's do G. Very good. Remember each finger. First finger covers everything that happens in the first fret. Second covers everything that happens on the second. Third covers everything that happens on the third. Pinky does double duty. Anything on the fourth or the fifth fret, the pinky covers. Okay? So now let's get some practice with these notes. We'll be working on the bonus workshop exercises for session 2. These and many other resources to help you learn guitar are available to you online at www.learnandmasterguitar.com/resources. There's all sorts of resources there for you to take part of. There's a discussion board and all kinds of things to get the support that you need to keep going with this. Okay, so let's look at these first string bonus exercises. Take a look at exercise number 1. Okay, starts on a G there. I'll count it off nice and slow. Starts on the third finger. We're going to start real easy and then it'll eventually get a little bit harder. 1, 2, ready, play. G. Hold it out for all 4 beats. 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, open E, 2, back to third finger G, 2, 3, 4, open E, 2, 3, 4, first finger F, 2, 3, 4, and open E. I told you they would start easy. Here we go. Let's do number 2 now. These are half notes. Half notes get 2 beats. And again, we're starting on that G. Now, if you need to write in the notes above these exercises, please go ahead and write them in. And then come back, just turn off the DVD, write the notes in, and then come back and we'll do it together. Let's do number 2. 1, 2, ready, go. G, now an E. 1, 2, back to G, back to E, first finger F, open E, and F, G. Great. Here we go. Let's do number 3. 1, 2, ready, go. Hold this out for 2 beats here. 2. 1, 2. Then this is 4 beats here. Let it ring out. 3, 4. Good. Now the last one on that page is number 4. Let's take a look at it. 1, 2, number 4, go. E, 2 G's, G, E, G, half note here, now remember to keep your wrist down. Needs to be a little bit of airspace there. You don't want to be way up like that with your thumb coming over the top. Lower that wrist, bring that wrist down so you get a little bit of airspace there. Okay? So now we're going to take away the tab, and I want you to look at the more first string bonus exercises. Okay? Let's take a look at number 1. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, now F, G, third finger, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. That one went a little fast. Let's go to number 2. Let's slow it down just a little bit. 1, 2, number 2, and ready, go. E, G, E, G, E, 2, E, to F, F to good. Let's try number 3. Now, I would encourage you to go ahead and try and say the notes as you're playing them. Kind of helps your muscle memory, your motor skill coordination to get those two things locked in together. Here you go. Number 3, nice and slow. 1, 2, number 3, and go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here's a G. Now F, 2, 3, 4. F, 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 and E. 2, 3, 4. Okay, here comes number 4. This one's a little bit tougher. Okay, say the notes with me. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. E, E, F, E, G, E, F, E, 2. Then G, F, G, E, G, F, G, and back to F, 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 G, F, E, 2, 3, 4. Now don't get discouraged if you can't do it as fast as I'm playing it right now. Just take your time. It's all about going at your own pace. So if you're not quite up to that speed yet, just stop the tape, practice it, maybe practice it for a couple of days. Then maybe come back to me and we can play it at that tempo. Okay? Don't get discouraged and think, well, I'll never get it. Okay? You'll get it. It just takes a little bit of time. Okay? What are we on? Number 5? 1, 2, number 5, play. Good. And lastly, number 6, 2, ready, go. Two, 3, 4. So that was a good workout on those first string notes, E, F, and G. Okay, go back and do these exercises again if you need a little bit more help on that. Okay, we're going to move on to the second string notes. We also learned 3 new notes on the second string. Okay, the second string, remember, this first and then second is this B. Okay, those notes are open B, first finger C, third finger D. Let's do that one more time. B, C, D. Okay, and we've got some exercises for these. To practice these, let's look at the second string bonus exercises. Start with number 1. 1, D, third finger starts it. Ready, play. Oop, misfired there. Let me try, and you'll do that too when we get to this stage. Your fingers, if you don't have your hand braced properly, you will often hit the wrong string on that. So let's see if I can get it right this time. Here you go. Number 1, 2, 3, D, ready, go. 2, 3, open B, go. 2, 3, 4, C. 2, 3, 4, D. 2, 3, 4, C. 2, 3, open B. Make sure each finger is doing its right fret, and first finger C. 2, 3, 4. Let's move on to number 2. 2, number 2, go. Now D, back to C, open B. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 3, 1, 2, number 3, go. Now here's that D. Hold on to that C for full 4 beats. Go. Okay, number 4. 1, 2, number 4, go. And here it jumps, B, D, B, D, C, C, C. And then here's the last ones, D, C. Very good. Okay? Now we're going to take away the tab, and I want you to look at the more second string bonus exercises. So now I've taken away your tab, and you're left with just the music reading on that. Okay? Here we go. This one starts on a B. This is number 1. 1, 2, ready. Number 1, go. First finger C, D, 1, 2, 3. Here's up to that D. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do number 2. 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. Very good. Number 3. 1, 2, number 3, go. 1, 2, here comes a D. Now hold the C for 4 beats. 2, 3, 4. Open B. 2, 3, 4. Okay? Take a look at number 4. Now remember, we talked about the treble clef, that's the first thing that you see as you look at your line of music. Then we also have the 4 and the 4 together. That means it's 4, 4. That's the time signature. The top number tells you how many beats are in each measure. The bottom number tells you what kind of note gets the beat. So all of these measures, no matter how you slice them, they're going to all end up with 4 beats in them. Okay? So let's do number 4. Let's pick it up a little bit. 1, 2, number 4, go. D. First finger C. 2, 3, 4. Let's do number 5, a little bit faster. Ready, go. 2, 3. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 6. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4. All right, we kind of picked it up a little bit there at the end. Okay, now we're going to put all 6 of these notes together. Okay, so we've got 3 on the first string, E, F, and G, 3 on the second string, B, C, and D. Okay, let's put all 6 of these notes together. Take a look at the first and second string exercises. These are your bonus exercises. Number 1. Okay, 1. Let me slow it down a little bit. 1, 2, ready, number 1, go. C, D, then next string, E, F, G, G, G. Then we go back down. All these notes, G, F, E, D, C, C, C. High G. Then second string, open B. And hold that first finger for 4 beats. 3, 4. Good. How'd you do? Okay, let's take a look at number 2. 1, 2, number 2, go. 1, 2. And then back to that third finger, G, open E, 1, 2, F, G, E, second string, D, C, and another C. That one's kind of tough there because we're jumping those strings. Let's try number 3. 1, we'll keep it slow here for a little bit. Number 3, 2, ready, play. E, and second string C, third string D, okay, let's try that one more time. 1, 2, this is number 3 again. Ready, go. 2, there you go. Okay, number 4. Ready, play. E, and all the way up to G. These are all on the first string here. And we go to F. Now we jump to the second string here. Open B. Back up to the first string. Now we jump all over. Very good. Very good. How are you doing? Okay. Now it's time to kick it up a notch. Look at the more first and string bonus exercises. Number 1. Okay, this is where it really starts to get a little bit more complex. Okay, are you hanging with me so far? Let's see if we can do this one. Okay, now look at this number 1. We've got some rests in there. Okay, there's some quarter rests. That's the lightning bolt looking thing. Those get 1 beat. And then in the 5th bar, I think it's 5th bar. Yeah, 5th bar, you have a half rest. That's that dash that sticks up from the line. He gets 2 beats. Okay, here we go. Let's do number 1. Let's talk about how we handle rest before we do that. If I'm playing that first measure and I have that C, well, how do I stop for that rest? How do I get the rest to happen? Well, all you need to do is just release the pressure on that first finger. Okay? You don't need to take your finger off the string or anything like that. Just release the pressure and it'll go away. Okay? Well, what if it's an open string that I'm trying to add a rest for? How does that work? Then you can mute it with your palm, and that's how that would work. So if like I'm playing a B, then I press my palm against there, and that holds that. Here we go, number 1. 1, 2, a little bit faster. C, rest. C to a D, rest. 1, 2, high G. And here's 2 beats of rest. 1, 2. And 2, 3, 4. Pretty good. Pretty good. Let's do number 2. 1, 2. You know what to do. Rest. Rest. Good. Number 3, a little bit faster. 2, number 3, go. 1, 2, D, F, C for 4 beats. 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Number 4, 2, ready, go. Next one. Very good. Here we go. Number 5. You got to do a lot of counting in this one. 1, 2, ready, 5, go. Rest, 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 rest. 1, 2, rest, rest. Rest, rest. That one's kind of tricky because of all the counting. Let's do that one again. Number 5, 2, ready, 5. 2, 3, 4, rest. 2, 3, rest, rest. Rest, rest. Okay, here we go. Number 6, last one. 1, 2, ready, 6. Rest. Gotta count here. Rest, rest. Very good. Okay, if you have conquered all of that stuff, you are well on your way to mastering all of that E, F, and G, and the second line notes of B, C, and D. Okay? We'll do one more thing before we finish up. Jingle bells. Okay? Let's try to play this one nice and slow. We're going to start with the first line. Okay? Write in the notes if you need to. Here we go. Jingle bells, nice and slow. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2. Okay, now we're going to go to the second line, down, go. Half notes here, up to that G. This is the third line now. To last line, go. Okay, we're going to play that one more time. Let's get a little bit faster on this one. Still doing those notes. Back up to line 1. 1, 2, ready, go. Next line, second line, go. Up to G, third line. To last line, go. Two, three, four. Okay, the last thing we're going to do, we also learned 2 chords. Remember those 2 chords we learned back in session 1? We learned a C chord, and we also learned a G7th chord. Okay, let's play them again. C. Now yours may sound a little buzzy. They may sound a little bit like that. That has to do with finger strength. Just keep at it, and in about a week or 2, your hands will be strong enough to get all these notes to sound out clearly. It takes a little bit of time, so don't give up after a couple of days. It takes about 3 or 4 days before you eventually get strong enough to get these finger muscles strong enough to play these. Okay, so let's do a C. Let's do a G7. Okay? Now for these jingle bell chords, we're just going to do 4 chords for every measure. So we're like playing quarter notes with chords. Okay? So we're going to start on that first measure. This is back on line 1. We're going to do C, okay, for 4 beats for each measure. Remember, C is a 5-string chord, so don't play this last 6th string. 1, 2, ready, C, chord, play. Next measure. Third measure. Here comes the second line. Ready. G7th. Try and form that correctly. Second line. 2, 3. Then back to a C. So get that C formed. 2, 3. Back to G7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes the third measure of that line. Third measure. 3, 4. Fourth measure. 2, 3. Back to G7. Take a second to get there. 2. Back to C. This really jumps you around between these 2 chords. Back to G7th. Go. 2, 3, 4. Very good. We've had a good workout for the last 30 minutes or so, learning all these things that we've covered in session 2. Let me just encourage you for a second. Be patient with your learning process. It takes some time to develop the skills that you need to develop on guitar. Okay? It doesn't happen overnight. I've been doing this for many years, and it just doesn't happen overnight. Some people, they try, I'll play guitar, I'll try to learn guitar, and they'll go for about a week or two and they'll say, forget it. It's not worth it. Okay, and they end up never learning. They end up sitting on their couch 3 months from now playing the same chords they ever did. Okay? It's the ones that actually keep going with it, actually the ones that make progress with it. So keep up the great work, and we'll see you next time. Let's talk about some tips for successful learning of this material, all these things that we covered here in session 2. Okay, number 1, keep doing the first session finger exercises. Okay, gaining motor skill control is still very much a priority at this stage. So every day before practicing the new material, warm up by playing through the first session finger exercises. Your accuracy and speed should be steadily improving every time that you do that. So don't just forget about those since those were in last session. Those little exercises should be part of your daily routine. Number 2, repetition, repetition, repetition. Developing good muscle memory involves repetition. Every exercise and song should be played every day. This repetition will build speed and accuracy, which are vital as more notes are going to be added to all this stuff. Okay, so don't just play an exercise once and think you've conquered it. Go back. At this stage, you need all the practice you can get with repeating these notes and knowing how to play them. Okay? Third thing, brace your picking hand. Okay? A lot of times we'll get sloppy with this at this stage. Bracing gives the hand the stability it needs to find the correct string when picking. Okay? If you're not bracing, then you're just kind of hunting and pecking for the notes, and that's not going to work. Put that pinky down. We're not always going to do that, but for right now, it's a good way to brace that hand to start. Okay? Fourth thing is try not to look at your hands. Okay? There's a normal tendency at this stage to develop a habit of glancing at this hand or at this hand or at either hand before playing a note. Okay? And so you'll see something like this. You'll be looking down at your music, and then you'll go here, and then you back over here, and then you play the note. And then you be over here, and you look over here, and you play the next note. Okay? Try to avoid that. The whole idea is that you eventually want to be able to play notes without glancing at your hands. Okay? So try to find and play the notes while keeping your eye on the music. Okay? Here's some things to watch out for. Okay? Number 1, using incorrect fingers. At this early stage of note reading, quite often you will use the wrong finger to fret a particular note. Nothing's unusual about that. That's what everybody does at this stage. You're going for the third finger note and you hit it with your second finger. Okay? For example, when trying to fret the first string, 3rd fret G, instead of using the third finger, you will end up using your second or your first. Okay? Remember that each fretting hand finger corresponds to a particular fret. Remember how we covered that? The first finger covers everything that happens on any string on that first fret only. The second finger covers everything on the second fret, and the third finger covers all the notes on the third fret. Okay? Pinky we haven't used yet, but he's going to cover eventually the 4th and the 5th fret. Okay? Building correct finger usage is crucial at this stage because it's building the appropriate muscle memory between the notes. You're coordinating your motor skills at this point. So if you start using any finger to play any note, it's going to mess up the motor skill, muscle coordination that we need to develop at this stage. Okay, number 2, fingering incorrect notes or plucking incorrect strings. There's 2 things involved with each note requires you to do. You got to pluck the proper string and you got to fret the proper fret with your finger. Oftentimes, one or the other of these elements will be incorrect and the wrong note will come out. It is only when you look at both hands do you realize that one or the other is in the wrong spot. So be diligent to make sure that each note is played correctly. If something sounds wrong to you, then double check to make sure that you are fingering the right note on the right string and also picking the correct string at that time. So sometimes you'll want to hit the second string and you'll hit the first string. Or when you hit the first string, you'll hit the second string. Okay? This is all common. It's very common at this stage. Just try and be mindful of all that to catch all these notes on the right strings. Okay? Third thing you need to watch out for is notes being held for the incorrect duration. As each exercise progresses, make sure that you are holding out each note for the proper amount of beats. Different notes are held out for different lengths. If you are playing each exercise as one steady stream of notes with no change in beat length, then you are probably playing the exercise wrong. Make sure each note is being held out for the proper duration. Whole notes get 4 beats, half notes get 2 beats, quarter notes get 1 beat. The last thing you need to look out for at this stage is hesitating. Okay? As you are learning a song or an exercise, hesitations between notes are to be expected at this stage. Everybody does that. It's quite normal. But as you gain familiarity with the song and the notes involved, the hesitations should diminish. Okay? When practicing, slow the exercise or song down enough to where it can be played without hesitation with the proper rhythm. So you got to play in a steady, even rhythm. You might speed up during easy sections and slow down during more difficult sections. This is what everybody's tendency is to do. But try to slow everything down slow enough to where all of the notes can be played evenly. Okay? Keep up the great work. For session 2, you're ready to move on when all of the first and second string exercises, which are pages 9 through 13 in your lesson book, can be played without hesitation at about 65 beats per minute. Also, when the more first and second string exercises can be played using the correct rhythms and resting the correct amount of beats. Also, when the notes to Ode to Joy and Jingle Bells can be played at 90 beats per minute. And the last thing is the chords to Ode to Joy and Jingle Bells can be consistently played accurately and evenly without hesitation at 90 beats per minute. When you could do all of